Come on, man. We all made it right back to where we belong on a Wednesday night, right here in the PMP community, the PMP universe. What are you laughing at already? I just haven't even said the first sentence. What are you laughing at?
You just made me think of love lift us up where we belong.
Nice vocal, by the way, dude. Nice Joe Cocker. Why did that come into your head? I don't know. What did I say?
You said we're back where we belong. And I just thought of the love. You would probably think of We Belong by
Pat Benatar.
Yeah, which is
another great track. And then I'll give you another. I had no idea we were going to go down this road, but since you opened the door, let's go right through it. So, great one. Let's lift us up where we belong,
where the eagles fly. On the mountain high.
That's a little too dramatic for me. Where the eagles fly, bro. Let me tell you what. I've been in a few relationships in my life. Nobody's ever lifted me so high that it was amongst the eagles. It just never happened. All right, number 2, Pat Benatar, We Belong, Defender. I got her back for life. She's a great singer. Shout out Neil Girardo on guitar. Both of them. I'll defend them both. And then Tony, don't forget about 38 Special. I Want You Back Where You Belong. Nice. One of their many, many hits. So, yeah, we're back where we belong. Nice opening riff, Tony. It kind of reminds me of the leadoff home run for the Giants tonight with Yastrzemski. But then nothing, Tony. Nothing. One hit. Now, Mike knows what I'm talking about. Iron Mike knows what I'm talking about. Like, you get to one hit, and then that's it. Like, we're capped out. Like, we're already, like, we're at the bar. We're like, nah, I got to cut you off. You got your one hit.
Dude, it's serious. Like, I was go ahead, go. What you got?
We got action. I got 2 runners on base now. Actually, Tony, if you could, I'd prefer a close encounters alert. Could I there's something about that one. It just hits me the right way. Actually, Giants have runners on second and third, 1 out, and my guy Koss is at the plate, man. Come on, Koss. Make it happen, bro.
To be honest, Paulie, right out of the gates, and we're going to get to Long Ridge, and we have a lot of stuff to talk to you about tonight.
We do. Yeah.
But Koss, how do you feel about Koss with his own like name on his like wristbands and his gear and he's all decked out. He's got all the bling. As the kids would say, he's very drippy. He's very drippy, Dad. It's like, okay, but it's like,
I don't know. You ever see Pete Rose hit? He didn't have any drip, but he hit like 4,000 hits in his career. You know what I mean? I saw, let me see. I mean, we can go all day. Mike Schmidt, remember him, third baseman? Yeah. Not a lot of drip going. I saw Willie McCovey play, dude. Willie Blank and McCovey would just get in the box and just on sheer like man strength, just muscle shots over the right field wall and Candlestick. He didn't have any drip. So I'm going to say my retort to that is you can actually succeed without drip. Giants tied the ball game. Giants just tied the ball game. We got to celebrate.
Yeah, Koss hit a sack fly to score Jung Hoo Lee. The Jung hooligans must be going bonkers right now.
Jung Hoo got thrown out trying to steal earlier tonight. But anyway,
Giants play, by the way, that was like literally like an inch or two. But that's how like precise baseball is, man. That catcher dropped a dime on second base. If that throw is a foot higher, Jung is safe. You know what I mean?
I do. And by the way, I want to say good evening to all our friends. Don Peralta, NorCal Refrigeration. Great to hang out with you the other night, man. Patty from Napa. I got a couple of words for you in just a second. I want to say what's up to Noemi and James Lazat. A2 Theat. Is that the guy's name? A2 Theat. Whatever. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one.
A2 Theat. Yeah. I thought A2 Theat. Okay.
Los D, what's up, my brother? The Nutter is in the house. What's up, Nutter? Patty from Napa, a couple things for you. First of all, I want to say, on behalf of all of us, like, I'm really sorry for your loss. I know you just suffered a loss in the family, and I'm very sorry to hear that. And we all love you. And I hope that these next few days are going to be as bearable as possible. But just know you got a lot of friends over here. We all got your back. If there's anything any of us can do, let us know. But Patty, keep your chin up. You're one of the good ones. And Mikey, too. By the way, another side note for Patty. I got 2 more things to address with Patty from Napa. Queen of the scene, after all, not to diminish any of the other ladies at PMP, but Patty from Napa, like she goes way back with the Murph and Mac show. She's been a part of it for years. Miguel, thank you, too. Andrew, what's happening? John Joseph, what's up? And Patty, I wanted to tell you a couple things. I saw your email. And by the way, great shot of you from what was it, Clement Street in the 90s, whatever. I tip my cap. I'm a Clement Street kid. I grew up on Clement Street. I saw movies at the I'm going to blow doors off now. You got to go way back for this. But how about on 10th and Clement? Raise your hand if you remember the Coliseum movie theater. The Coliseum. Tony, I saw movies I saw the Blues Brothers at the Coliseum. Swear to God. When I was a kid, and now it's a big Walgreens. It's another one of our lost movie theaters. And I still, we talk about getting depressed when we pass Candlestick and it's not there anymore. I get depressed when I'm driving down Geary and there's more Coronet. Like, it's an old age home now, and God bless those folks, but still, I had a lot of childhood memories wrapped up in the Coronet. So anyway, Patty, back to your thing. And I wanted to say, you had a Pig and Whistle shirt on in that photo, and you said, hey, does anybody know about the Pig? Let me tell you a couple of things about the Pig and Whistle. I know all about the Pig and Whistle.
Yeah, me too.
Not that long ago, 10, 15, I guess 15 years ago, I lived on Arguello and Geary in the city. I had an apartment over there. And one night I was hanging out. This is definitely during the Murph and Mack era, too. I was just hanging out one night. It was a summer night. I'm watching a Giants game, and there was a blackout. My whole neighborhood lost power, and it was not coming back on. And I remember it was like a really hot night in the city, and so I had no electricity, I had no lights. So I left my place. I just started walking up the street. Tony, you know where I wound up? I wound up at the Pig and Whistle.
Nice.
Because they were open. I was just walking up Geary, dude, like a vagrant, just walking around, and all the lights were out and everything, but they had candles lit at Pig and Whistle, and they were still drawing beers off the tap. So I was like, let's have a couple of beers. So anyway, I do know the Pig and Whistle, Patty, and I like the shirt that you were wearing too. But again, condolences and all our best. I hope everything goes okay.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Pine Needle's checking in. T, can you throw him up real quick, bro?
I will, and also I want to tell Pine Needle this is another part of the gift from Pine Needle. It was tapestries galore and backdrops galore. So this is the third night flight since I got the package. Yeah, and this is the third installment from Pine Needle. So Pine Needle, he's a super. Thank you, Pine Needle, and he says, at Patty, my deepest heartfelt prayers your way. See, that's the community, dude. That's the community. And Paulie, you're gonna, as you can tell, I'm a little slow today. So you're gonna have to have my back a little bit.
Well, we are. We don't have any secrets in the PMP familia, if you will. And by the way, I've stolen that term from Noemi. I see you do that all the time. You say the PMP familia, and it is a familia. In fact, I don't normally do this, and I want to get to Tony's condition because Tony is a little out of it for real, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But Low Steve, you ain't kidding, dude. Blackouts follow Paulie Mack. Why? I don't know. I've got that kind of effect in the electromagnetic currents that fly around the air like particles. I guess they takes one to know one kind of thing. They're like, oh, look at this kid. Let's shut his power down. Anyway, you're right, Low Steve. They do follow me. And bonus points, Tony. Shout out Scorpions Blackout. Okay, Blackout. The guy with his head taped and the forks in his eyes.
Forks in his eyes. Forks in his eyes. That is an album cover that like stuck in my head forever. That and Quiet Riot's Mental Health album cover. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I'm like, I could not get those out of my mind. I remember trying to draw that guy with the forks. I'm like, I can't do it. It's just
and by the way, shout out to the late Kevin Dubrow. Rest in peace, Kevin Dubrow. Dude, Kevin Dubrow in the Mental Health video, I'm pretty sure that's him in like a straitjacket, sitting in a padded cell with the mask on, Tony.
Yes, okay? Yes, it is.
With the mask on. Yeah, yes, it is. Like in the nut house, just sitting in there with the mask on.
Those guys were marketing machines, dude. They knew how to. Them and Twisted Sister, kind of at the same time, they knew what they were doing, man. Because God, did they sell records? They knew how to sell records.
None of this is planned, but Tony, I'm gonna ask you to do something for me and on behalf of all of our great friends listening and watching in tonight. A lot of people don't know this. Creative Tony, I'd say this is a pretty fair statement to me to make. And I know a lot of people who like a lot of different kinds of music. I think Creative Tony might be the biggest Twisted Sister fan I've ever met. And to prove it, Tony, I'm going to give you, I'll give you 2 minutes. I'd like you to draw up the Twisted Sister logo for us and then show the group. Because
how about this? How about I just give you that?
I love that that's on tap. Like that's right there. Like, and that's D. Snyder in the back, of course. So naturally. But dude, draw the TS logo for us. Watch how fast Tony can do this. It's very impressive. And while you're doing that, I want to tell everybody what's going on with Creative Tony, and then we're going to get to Longbridge and we'll kick the show off. But Tony had what we're going to go ahead and call a little league mishap last night. And I'll let you tell the story, but I want you to do the logo first. So I'll set the stage. Tony was coaching his game. He's doing All-Stars now with Little League, and he actually got injured at the game. And it's not a laughing matter. This stuff does happen. Kids get hurt, adults get hurt. So Tony's kind of messed up tonight. Let me see. What do you got right there? Yeah, there it is. Dude, very nice. Very respectful. Thank you. It didn't even take the full 2 minutes. I think it took about 40 seconds. So respect. Yeah.
I love that was on my when we used to cover our books with like brown paper bags in school. You had to cover your books, and then it was like a blank canvas for the freaking semester, dude. So I had the VH, I had the Aussie, I had the TS for Twisted Sister, I had the Quiet Riot, I had the Rat with the two T's. Then the T's were, the two T's were they were connected, right? And
well,
so
you got to connect them, sure.
I mean, like it was. Well, I can draw that later, but anyhow, my book was covered. My books were covered in pop or 80s metal logos. So sorry.
Yeah. And by the way, shout out to the great creative minds behind the band Rat, because we talked about umlauts yesterday and how in the 80s, like people just chuck umlauts on anything. Like Paulie Mac, let's throw an umlaut over the A and the U, like for no reason. And then Rat had the foresight to say, like, we're going to call ourselves Rat, but we're going to go ahead and add a second T for no reason. We're just going to add that second T. Now we got two T. The word is spelled R-A-T. Piercy goes, no, man, give me that second T. So anyway, Rat with two T's. Tony, tell everybody what happened, and we're going to keep the show kind of tight tonight for Tony's behalf. He's actually a little messed up. I think he might have a concussion. I'm just guessing. But Tony, that being considered, we're not going to keep it too long tonight. We'll wrap as close to 9 as possible. And Larry Krueger is going to join us at 8:30. We're going to go way deep into the 49ers and their offseason and what's going on right now. And the NBA draft, just a quick note on that. Nothing's really going on right now of interest for the Golden State Warriors. They don't have a pick until the second round. The 41st pick overall, the 11th pick in the second round. And so right now it's all quiet in Warrior land. Although there is a little bit of buzz on Kuminga. Like Miami might be interested in trading for him. We'll see. But anyway, Tony, tell your story to the group. Like what happened to you last night?
Well, we did batting practice at our home field, Arguello here in San Carlos. Before our game yesterday, we lost a heartbreaker 9-8 to Alpine. Tip of the cap to Alpine. Congrats to those guys. Good dudes.
Shout out Grateful Dead at Alpine Valley, one of their favorite destinations. A lot of great shows at Alpine Valley. Anyway, Tony, sorry.
Yeah. I've been to Alpine Valley. Saw fish there. An incredible venue.
What year?
That was 2001.
Wow, going way back. Okay,
that was 2000. It was 2000.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it was great. That was a great show. But throwing BP or not throwing BP, we decided one cage was going to be live throwing BP, and the other cage was going to be just a machine. And we knew we were going to face a righty, and I'm lefty, so we knew we were going to face a righty. So we had one coach. Shout out Coach Gary. He was throwing batting practice in the other cage. Coach Mark was doing tee work on the field, and then I was in the other cage loading balls into the machine. We have an L screen, and the L screen is literally just to protect you, and then the ball shoots over, through the L of the screen. I was standing mostly behind the L screen, but our biggest, strongest, probably, power hitter of our team, shout out Matty Wiseman. He hits a line drive, a screamer, so hard, so fast. I didn't have time to react, and it missed the pole of the L screen, the vertical pole of the L screen. And it directly hit me in the face, right on my right eye, my right eye. Damn. So, excuse me, knocked my hat off, knocked my sunglasses, shattered my sunglasses.
Did you go down? Did you hit the ground?
I did, yeah, I did. And then, but I never blacked out. Thankfully, and then I just started touching my face, and there was, obviously some blood and stuff. But it's nowhere near as bad as it could have been. And I mean, here, let me show you. This is the kid. So the catcher in that photo, look at the size.
He's like a junior in high school, by the way. This kid. He's as big as the freaking ump. That's the kid who hit the ball, fouled it off.
Yes. Some of you might have noticed the name Mark Wiseman in the chat. This is Mark Wiseman's son, Matty Wiseman. So
nice.
Yeah, up, and Mark's one of our coaches. Yeah. So this is Matthew. Like there he is again with the boys.
Jesus Christ, this kid's got so much size on him, man.
And he hits the crap out of the ball. When he connects, it just hit a laser line drive where I didn't really have time to react, and it hit me right in the face. And so, I'm super lucky. I could have broken my nose. I could have lost eyesight. I could have broken my cheekbone or whatever this bone is up here. Your skull, I guess.
Skull bone. Yeah, I don't know. Right. The dome we call that. Yeah. I don't know.
I spent the day, and my buddy, shout out Johnny, who is he's a paramedic, or a firefighter, excuse me. He was like, "Hey, make sure you sleep upright." That was yesterday because one of his kids is on our team, and Gino, and Gino's dad was like, make sure you sleep upright. So last night I didn't sleep at all because I was trying to sleep upright, dude.
Dude.
You know, and then I definitely feel like I was concussed because, and you know, tip of the cap to anybody who's had a concussion, tip of the cap to Steve Young and all those guys who had multiple concussions.
Sure.
I think I basically had concussion headaches all day. It was just wild.
Okay.
Wild.
Well, dude, you just chill, baby. We're gonna take care of you tonight. And by the way, here comes some comedy right out of the gate. So I said, because I would like to keep it tight for Tony, get him out of here around 9 o'clock so we can go rest. And I know he didn't sleep last night. And so, dude, we're gonna take care of you tonight. But then Anthony, I think it was Anthony Merkovich came in and goes, bro, if you're on a tight window tonight, he goes, just be warned. When Kruger comes on, dude, Kruger drops anchor. And dude, he does. So check this out. Last year, before we started doing the Polymac Particle show, Larry was really helpful to both of us. And he got me back in front of people again and started having me on his show once a week during football season. But he would say stuff like this. He'd be like, yeah, Paulie, I don't know. He goes, I need you maybe 15, 20 minutes, bro. An hour and a half would go by, a couple times 2 hours. I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock, Larry. We should probably wrap this up at some point. Just a couple more things. And he was like, no, so I know, Anthony, he'll go. Man, Kruger, you take him off the leash, bro. He runs free. So, but we'll try to keep it tight, and we'll see what we can get.
It might get to a point where I'm like, hey, Paulie, you guys, I'm going to peace out. You guys keep going.
No. Don't leave me alone with Larry. I can't handle that alone. I'm just kidding. We love Cruz. But anyway, Larry will be with us in about 15 minutes. Now we're going to try to get Tony into bed tonight at a reasonable hour. So, and by the way, if this Giant game keeps up now, because we are tied at 2, bottom 6, Devers will be. Yeah, I think Devers is leading off this inning. Anyway, we'll keep you posted with scores. I know a lot of you. Yeah.
So, Paulie, you just before we go on to other topics, you were talking Giants, and I had a question for you right out of the gates. Or did you have something you wanted to get to right out of the way? I
think we should probably do Longbridge for 17 minutes in. Yeah, let's.
Yeah, or we can do Longbridge before Kruger too. Your call.
Look at you, fancy pants. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? You're the guy who took the ball off the nose, eye, and skull. So you tell me if you want to go now or 8:30. I'm going to let you run the show tonight, like Magic Johnson.
Why don't we do it? Let's go. I have a question for you. And then how about after this topic, then we'll do Longbridge.
Sure, man. Yeah.
And I see Andrew on the chat from Longbridge. What's up, Andrew? How's Tahoe, dude? I'm getting up there very soon. By the way, I heard we have a couple Tahoe tournaments later on in the summer. I heard Andrew might make an appearance, according to Neil. At my son's wooden bat tournament in Tahoe. Please do, Andrew. I'd love to see you. Anyways, it is now it's now known today. It was made known today that they're going to do a statue for Barry Bonds at Oracle Park.
Yeah.
I sure hope that they do it next to a parking garage and a few porta potties, Steve Young, Levi's.
Totally. No, you want to pay the proper respect. Prop them up right near the porta potty.
Yeah.
Bro, let me tell you something too. It wasn't just the disrespect about where they put the Steve Young thing. After the gig on Sunday, because our car was parked in that lot, right where the Steve Young statue is. So, dude, we're going back to the car. And Tony was like, for real. Tony's like, actually, hang on. I'm going to go use that porta potty. And I was going to use it too. And I took like 2 steps over towards this thing. Dude, the smell was so bad. I said, I'd rather hold it. I'd rather pee when I get home. This ain't worth it. So I'm saying it's like a double insult. It's like an insult sandwich, dude. It's like, you're by the garage and we're going to make sure the porta potties are like, they're like you need a hazmat suit to stand over there. But Tony, go ahead.
And he's also throwing the football to a kid. So is Barry Bonds going to be taking hitting up a home run off a kid?
Get me a laugh track ready because I don't have any loaded on my end over here. So give me an iron mic. I don't care anybody. Yeah. I was going to say, Tony, maybe they could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Give Barry Bonds the best of both worlds. Why not just make the statue of Bonds sitting on the can, dropping a deuce? You know what I mean? Like, like reading the sports page. That can be the Barry Bonds. I'm kidding, of course. No, but anyway, I hope. It really wasn't that good.
My serious question to you, Paulie, is where do you think that statue should or will go at Oracle Park, the Barry Bonds statue?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be totally honest with you here, man, because I actually have.
I expect nothing but.
Well, that's just your expectations are correct, but I mean that I still have mixed feelings about where they have McCovey. I appreciate that they named the Cove,
man.
I appreciate they named the Cove after him. I think that's totally appropriate. And you have to understand, like, the politics of the McCovey. To me, this is just me, but I feel like if you grew up in the 70s as a little kid like I did and you saw Willie McCovey, he was a hero to all of us. Like he was a living, walking, talking, breathing legend. And he was still, I saw him hit his 500th home run in Atlanta. Like I remember that and how big a deal that was. And he was like a god to us. So, you know, the fact that, yes, they've honored him and remembered him, but I still kind of have mixed feelings about the fact that he's like behind the stadium. You got to go out of your way to see it. So I hope Bonds is in a more prominent spot than that, and I expect he would be. But it's also a great question because now you got to remember, like, I do expect they're going to have a statue for Tim Lincecum at some point. I really
would
so. Like.
I would hope so.
I want that number retired, 55, and I also think he is more than worthy of having his own statue. And then you got to go like, well, where's that one going to go? So I don't know that I have a good answer for you. I mean, maybe somewhere between the Willie Mays statue and like the left field entrance on like third and King. Or second and King, I guess that would be. I don't know. Like, what do you think?
I could see them doing it right next to Willie, since Willie was his godfather and he's the home run king, and Willie is considered the greatest baseball player to ever play the game. I've had that conversation with my dad because that's my dad says Willie Mays is the best baseball player he's ever seen. I say to my son, Barry Bonds is the best hitter I've ever seen. So I could see them doing that. That'd be quite a statement if they put Bonds right next to Willie Mays. So I don't know. But again, I feel you on the McCovey thing too, man, because that McCovey thing, unless you walk that shoreline from the south entrance or the south parking lot,
you'd never see it.
You never see it.
Yeah.
And like the whole cove is named after him. How about on the other side of the cove? You got Warren Marischal over there.
Right.
You put Willie there too, maybe. I don't know, just a thought.
Well, you're not the only one. Look at Robot Centaur. Throw him up there as a super. What's up, Fareed? Good to see you, man. He's saying the same exact thing you just said, right next to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably right. Especially with the Godfather connection and how tight his dad was to Willie and obviously to Barry. So we'll see. But then we're talking statues. Like, I mean, does Baumgartner get a statue later on? Like, I don't know. I mean, the guy was incredible, Buster Posey, and what Buster Posey is doing in the front office now. And by the way, Paulie, I was just going to tell you something real quick. According to my sources, it's first and second, one out with one red hot Casey Schmidt at the plate. And okay, we got a fly out to right and move the runners up to second and third. So sack, fly to right, move the runners up to second and third. So that's an update. But Casey Schmidt has been hot. I think I saw he's like in his last 13 games, he's batting 400. So that's good. Love to see that. And again, I really want Chapman to come back, but man, he's done a great job while Chapman's been out, man. I don't think Chapman's coming back before the All-Star break, by the way.
And I just also want to say, again, another really solid outing from Logan Webb again. I mean, this guy just continues to come out and just he's been pitching at such a high level. His numbers should be better than they show because the Giants haven't given him any help offensively. So I hope they can deliver something right here for the sake of Logan Webb and for the sake of kind of staying in this thing. I think they're 4.5 back now after the loss last night. But anyway, we're going to keep you posted on that. And then, Tony, I said, who wrote that? The Nutter? Bro, I'll second that. Can we please get a 2-out hit? Is that too much? I mean, is that too much? Just give me one. You know what I mean? It's like once a week I'll ask one. Just throw me a 2-out hit. You know, throw me a 2-out hit that drives in 2. Give me a nice, comfortable 2-run lead as we go into the 7th.
Also, Melvin doing more lineup tinkering. Devers batting second now, and then Ramos batting third. He's definitely trying to find the magic potion or the magic mix because Devers batting second tonight. And it's like, oh, I didn't expect to see that. And he's got Adames batting 7th, dude. Jung-Hoo Lee batting 6th. So Adames 1 for 2 already. So and Ramos 1 for 3. Yastrzemski 1 for 3. Yastrzemski laced that home run to start the game.
He's been hitting, man. Yastrzemski's been playing good baseball, and I like. And you're right about Schmidt too. Schmidt has been pretty good over the past few games. He's looking better. All right, Tony, why don't we get into Longbridge a little bit here, and then we'll get ready for Larry Krueger, who's going to talk Niners with us because he is Mr. Niners with his notebooks and his guys down to practice all the time. So here we go. Longbridge Pizza, Tony, our great friends on 3rd Street in the Dog Patch, San Francisco neighborhood that is growing by the day. Creative Tony says keep an eye out for the new mini spheres they're going to be putting up down there. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know how to react to that. You showed me graphs or sketches. I don't know. I mean, I'm like, there was 3 of them, not 1, not not two, three spheres, three of them. Again, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe there are three spheres that are going to pop up. You know what I mean? Like mushrooms. Oh, look at that. There's three spheres. I don't think so, dude. And and you're saying they're mini spheres, meaning what? Like how many people are going to fit in these things?
Oh no, like there's smaller venues, smaller versions of the sphere. Supposedly, that's what I.
Where are you getting that info again? Where'd you get that,
dude? SF Gate and SF Standard, and I don't, yeah. So like reputable sources. I think the Chronicle also had something too. And I talked to Neil. I actually talked to Neil about it. He's like, yeah, it's. I keep hearing that. It's going up, and it's going to be going up soon. I mean.
Dude. Andrew Markoulis going, it's going to be like the Heineken Dome at the outside lands. I have no idea what the Heineken Dome is. I've been to a couple outside lands. I don't think I saw the Heineken Dome. Do you know what that is, Tony?
Dude, yes, I've seen the Heineken Dome. No, I think it'll be bigger than the Heineken Dome.
I like the name though. I want to go hang out in the Heineken Dome.
Dude, Jung Hoo Lee just struck out with second.
All right.
That's America. So by the Longbridge, hey, tomorrow is a day game, Giants day game against the Marlins, and 12:45 first pitch, I believe. Get to Longbridge before the game. We did it last week, and it was great. Either grab stuff to go and bring it to the yard, get the gabagool sandwich, or get a pizza to go. You can get tomorrow's Detroit style. Thursdays is Detroit style pizzas. Get the Polymac pizza Detroit style, or any other Detroit style you want, and bring it to the yard. Have a nice ice cold beverage while you're there as well. And I was looking up the Valkyries schedule. I was trying to see when the Valkyries are at Chase Center, and I'm trying to get their schedule because when the Valkyries are at Chase, get to Longbridge Pizza. It's literally 3 blocks away from Chase Center, and we got to look at their concert schedule too before the weekend. Next time we do because great shows come to Chase too. And if you can get Longbridge in before Chase and not have to deal with the whole getting food inside Chase, which is. That is a scene, man. I'm telling you, handle your business at Longbridge before you go to Chase Center, and then go enjoy the music or the game. Don't worry about that. So
speaking of getting food inside, and by the way, thank you, Longbridge. We freaking love you guys. And again, as another reminder, just another public service announcement on behalf of all of us here in the PMP community. Neil Tenardi, the guiding light over there at Longbridge. Again, the word is out on the streets. We're looking for that tomato sauce to get jarred up and sold. Nice. Tell me when it's ready. That's all. Tell me I know you're already selling the crust. Let's take the next step. You know what I mean? Let's take the next step and do the sauce. My mom is looking for it. I'm looking for it, and but it speaks to how good it is. Neil went into a whole rap with my mom about how serious they are about finding the right tomatoes, and you can tell the sauce is that good that you're like, damn, where did these tomatoes come from? So anyway, Neil, keep up the great work. We freaking love you. And last thing, Los D, our great friend and sponsor, he and I were having a conversation yesterday, and we're talking about doing something at Longbridge, and it's still kind of getting fleshed out right now. But as we get closer to making it real, believe me, we're going to announce it on the show. But yeah, we're going to incorporate Los D down there. More events coming up, because again, what a great time we all had at Levi's over the weekend hanging out. We want to do more stuff like that, and Los D and I are working on something right now, so we'll share that as we get closer. Yes, Tony.
One final note: I just saw the Valkyries are at Chase Center Friday and Sunday. So if you're going to go check out Valkyries Ball, 7:00 Friday, the jump, and 5:30 Sunday. If you want to go before those games, check it out, because there's Valkyries Ball happening at Chase Center Friday and Sunday. Get to Longbridge beforehand.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to that. And I look forward to catching a Valkyries game, actually. I want to get out there and see that. I already heard, I don't know how this is possible, but maybe some of you saw this today too. I saw this online today that already somehow the Valkyries are let me see how am I going to say this correctly? They are now the most valuable franchise in the entire WNBA, meaning like their price tag is now the highest of all the teams, which to me is crazy, because they just came and hit the scene this year, but already their value is appreciated so much that apparently they are now the most pricey organization in the entire WNBA. If you were going to go place a bid on them, yes.
So maybe Joe Lacob can buy the A's then, if he's getting this money from the Valkyries. Buy the A's maybe, and because I saw that you commented on the groundbreaking in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and you said dig a tunnel back to Oakland. That was a great line.
They're like, it just pissed me off. I saw they were like celebrating. They're like, hey, we have shovels in the ground in Vegas. I'm like, yeah, you know what, dude? How about you grab one of those shovels and tunnel your way back to Oakland? I just don't like. And I still, dude, I'm still a skeptic I will believe that there's going to be a stadium built when I see it. I don't care if they put a shovel in the ground. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Same.
Show me when you got seats and the grass is getting laid down, then I'll believe it. Until then, Tony, I still am not totally convinced that thing is going to happen.
Dude, this made me think of an idea, and we have a meeting with Dom, our art director, on Friday. I'm going to bring it up. I want foam fingers made, and the original foam fingers are like this, and the number one where you stick the finger in the air, number one, like that, right?
Yeah.
I want a yellow and green foam finger with a hashtag FJF, but it's this. The foam finger is this,
right?
Instead, and you can wave it. You can go to A's games and wave it like this. Wouldn't that be great? I think those would sell like hotcakes. Maybe we could put PMP on one side, hashtag FJF on the other side, dude.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, because the foam finger, I grew up loving the foam finger. I had the Niner foam finger, I had the Giants foam finger, and now it's time to get the FJF foam finger.
If I had to right now, if you put a gun to my head and said, Paulie Mac, you better come up with a foam finger right now or we're going to blow your head off, I think I could do it. I think I could come up with a foam finger. You want me to go grab one? Because I could probably get one like pretty quickly.
Dude, yes. While you do that, because I've been wanting to play something while NorCal Refrigeration and HVAC is running. So go.
I'll be back with a visual prop. Hold on. All right.
Stand by, everybody. I see NorCal Refrigeration and HVAC on the chat. And dude, I want to play your genius, your musical genius right now, and remind everybody how they can become a PMP VIP.
PMP VIP. PMP VIP. PMP VIP. Join today. PMP VIP. PMP VIP. PMP VIP. Join today. PMP VIP. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh man, that is good stuff. So just a reminder for those of you who aren't PMP VIP, you can do so right next to the subscribe bell. Become a member, become a PMP VIP. We did a couple of hits last week. We're going to do much more extended stuff as we continue to learn how to do things live. Basically on location or on Zoom or on our platform StreamYard, and be able to have host a party, host a group, more than just a few people, and get the PMP VIP really involved in the scene. So
all right, I gotta hold on a second. Bear with me, Tony. Where am I going? All right, we have an announcement to make. Is that working, Tony? You getting my megaphone? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the PMP community, I have a special announcement to make. Apparently, somebody has moved the foam finger, okay? Because I had one in the closet. It's not there anymore. Okay?
Oh, no.
It's just not there. Hold on. This kind of stuff happens in the Paulie Mac house. Like, I'll open a drawer. I mean, something's gone. Where'd that one go? And I tell you right now, I didn't move the foam finger, so there must be somebody else involved here. But it's gone. It's gone.
Yep. Oh, it's all good, dude. Paulie, it's all good. And by the way, 2 updates for you. We have Larry Kruger in the green room. He's in the green room. He's enjoying it was his rider that he provided for us, the stuff that he wanted. So I can see him. I think he's guzzling like a Schweppes ginger ale at the moment.
No. I'll tell you right now. I remember Kruger from the KMBR days. If I'm not mistaken, Larry Kruger is a big Coca-Cola in the can guy. I recall. Aren't I right about that? He used to come into the. I want to say he used to come into the studio to do a show with a can of Coca-Cola, and I'll confirm that in a moment. But anyway, I think he would prefer Coke to a ginger ale.
Okay, and then the second is we got a 3-2 count. Randy the Redwoods is on the mound. Logan Webb out of the game. He's not going to get the decision tonight. 3-2 count, runner on first, 1 out, top 7. So God forbid the Giants get succeed with the runner in scoring position at some point tonight. They were 0 for 4 last night, lost the ball game. Now they're in a tie ball game, and I don't know what they are. They must be 1 for 1 with runner in scoring position, because Yaz led off the game with the first run of the game, and then Jung-Hoo Lee was hit in by somebody. So it's struggles, the offensive struggles at the yard right now. So let's bring in Larry, and we can talk about other things other than the offensive struggles or the lack of offense. So I'm gonna bring in.
I need a break. From the Giants' offensive woes. Yeah, dude. There's Krugs. What's up, my brother? Great to see you.
What is going on?
Hey, man, I feel like Jeff Piccoli. I know that, dude, and I know that studio, dude. You and I have we've seen the entire facility over there. Larry's working out of. So, Larry, dude, great to see you. Thanks for giving us a couple of minutes tonight. I know it's a busy night with the NBA draft going on and everything, and the Giants are just doing their usual Giant thing, getting great pitching, not really scoring runs. Another night at the yard. By the way, Giants here. We're going into the 7th inning. Giants have 3 hits, Larry. Make it stop. Make it
Seriously.
We're going to talk Niners, but make it stop with the Giants, Larry.
Well, I mean, could you imagine if you paid, I don't know, $1,000, let's say, to bring your family to that game, and you know what? Maybe somebody had to get something to eat before you sat down, so you missed the Yaz home run.
Right.
So you missed the Yaz home run. You've been sitting there for about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You've seen a sack fly, and you're in $1,000.
Yeah.
Tell me how that guy's feeling right now.
That's why they better hurry up and get that Barry Bonds statue up as quickly as possible, so they can be like, hey, look, this is back in the days when we used to actually hit. We had a guy who could hit home runs. His name was Barry Bonds. It's rough, dude. I mean, again, the Giants have given me a real surprise this year, being as competitive as they are, but it's not without its share of frustrations. But Krugs, we want to talk Niners with you, man. And by the way, I want to say again, thank you to Larry Krueger, who was so helpful, especially last year when we were trying to piece this thing together. Tony and I had literally no idea what to do or where to begin or how to go about doing it or build the, get a hold of your audience again. How do you get those people to come back and how do you do the show? Larry was doing it step by step with us. So Krugs, a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you, man. We probably would not be in this shape without all the help and guidance you gave us. So thank you, brother. And
dude, absolutely.
Yeah, and one of the things we look to Larry for always is great 49er insights and coverage, and I know you're all over it again this year. Tony, do you want to start? I got like 80 things I want to ask Larry, but if you want to kick this thing off, I'll let you have the floor.
Well, dude, Larry, I gave you full credit, of course, but I stole something that you posted yesterday. I said it's a great question. McLaurin for Aiyuk, would you do it? And I hands down, I would do McLaurin for Aiyuk right now, and I have to feel for the Niners front office, and I'm not usually a front office guy, but yet again, we're going into a training camp with unhappiness, unsettled, feelings. It seems like every offseason now, the last 3 off seasons, there's been stuff that's been unsettled, and I don't like it, and I feel like I don't know if you have a remedy for that. And I never got your answer about the McLaurin Aiyuk thing. I know you proposed it, but I didn't get your answer. So that's a
I mean, I would do it. I mean, my question is this: is Aiyuk, who's they? Because he's like they, who is they the Niners, and he's mad at the team, or is they, guys like myself, guys, the YouTube crowd, or people who have said, hey, you know what, I would trade him. He just seems unhappy. I don't know if he's unhappy. If he's unhappy or if he's just bored or if he's unhappy with the organization or if he's just unhappy at the notion of him being traded. I just look at it as a situation. I don't know. I don't know if he's happy or not. He seems unhappy. We know the Commanders, we know him and Daniels are tight. And the Commanders now have a holdout with McLaurin. I mean, most likely, it sounds like he's going to hold out. He's a little bit older. He wants a contract. His contract's probably not going to be quite as big as Aiyuk's, but he is healthy, and that's an advantage. So, I don't know. I mean, whether it's McLaurin and Aiyuk is involved in the trade, or whether it's the Niners pick up Gabe Davis, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen. I threw out maybe a trade for like a Malachi Corley from the Jets. I think they're really 3 players away. I think they need a little bit more rush, one more defensive back, and one receiver. It doesn't have to be McLaurin.
Okay, I want to stay on Aiyuk for a second here because I feel like, just to kind of echo what Tony was saying or just expand on that a little. For starters, Tony, you're right. I mean, they've had so much drama in these recent off seasons where there was Trent Williams holding out. It was Nick Bosa holding out. It was Debo holding out. It was Brandon Aiyuk holding out. And then here's the thing. Brandon Aiyuk held out. He missed all of camp last year, and they gave him the monster deal he wanted. He got $120 million. And then when he started playing, Larry, he looked terrible. He looked terrible. We talked about it on your show last year. Like, that was not a good look for Brandon Aiyuk. And then to make noise in the press, like, yeah, I need to be involved in the offense more. Well, then, dude, when you get the ball thrown right between your numbers, you might want to hold on to it because he was not playing good football. So in my mind, Larry, he should have come into this camp lean, mean, and all business. Like, I know he's coming off the injury. I understand that. But still, be in the best shape you can possibly be in and show these guys you're a team guy and you're ready to go. None of those things have happened. Now, my question is, you talked about the mysterious they. Who's they? Is that the media? Is it his teammates? Whatever. here's a question, because I've seen this come up a few times. Could it possibly be friction or some kind of problem he has with Kyle?
I mean, it could be he has problems with Kyle. It could be that he doesn't have a great relationship with Brock. I mean, I don't know. I'll say this: Brock visited Kittle in the offseason. I don't think he visited Aiyuk. When Brock signed for $265 million, did you remember that Aiyuk tweet that he put out congratulating him? Oh, I don't either, because it didn't fucking exist.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm making something out of nothing, but
Dude,
he
Larry,
went out of it. He
you're-
went out of his way to tell us that Jaden Daniels was a quarterback that could take him to the next level. And then when his quarterback signs for big bucks, the one guy who ripped it the next day was TJ Hushmanzada, who was the trainer for Aiyuk. So I don't know. It doesn't. All I would say is, hey man, if you're trying to make things look kind of, weird, you sure succeeded. You didn't say anything positive to your quarterback when he signed, and the guy that you worked with ripped it, and said basically anybody, and then had some idiotic comment too. It was like, TJ Hushmanzada is the biggest fool of all time. He's like, he didn't deserve 53 million. And it's like, oh, really? So then he went on with Willard and Dibbs on 95.7.
Yeah.
And then finally Willard's like, well, what did he deserve? And he's like, 47.
Oh,
and it's like, well, why? So you're all pissed off. He doesn't deserve 53.
yeah, right.
I am 47. I mean,
Yeah.
just shut up, dude. Just shut up.
You know.
You were a marginal receiver. You're a worse football commentator. Every time you open your mouth, you let us know that you're a fucking idiot. Just shut up.
Dude, Kruger. For those that don't know, Kruger's is back from a vacation, and we're getting like the refreshed,
I love it.
spicy Krug.
Yeah,
and first
he's
of all, Larry,
rested and ready, man. Rested and ready. Yeah.
but I also want more vacation Krug on social media next vacation, dude, because you were posting some great stuff, man. And I was like, look at Larry. He's not on the
Yeah.
beach on the East Coast. He's
Yeah.
in New York City. So it was a good vacation. I can tell, huh, Larry?
Dude, I mean, it's amazing when you travel
Yeah.
that some of your videos even do better than when you do them in your studio.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some better, I got more traction. Now, granted, Devers got traded.
Yeah.
That was big. I got like 25,000 views on that. What the hell is going on here video? But my nephew's a big Red Sox fan. So if I could have just taped him and all of his commentary, oh my God, it would have been the greatest video of all time, except it probably would have been X-rated. Because he was pissed. He was pissed.
Yeah.
And my Red Sox family back there, their fans back there, they're pretty convinced that the Red Sox are trying to prep for a sale. That John Henry bought this thing for whatever, a couple $100 million. It's now worth whatever it's worth, $7 or $8 billion.
Yeah.
The Lakers are cashing out for huge numbers.
Yeah.
And everybody's dreaming the dream. I mean, you know the way this thing works. You buy the team. And you're already incredibly rich. Then the Red Sox under John Henry have won 4 titles. So the curse of the Bambino is just gone. And then the value of the franchise is exponentially greater, but you don't realize that value until you actually sell. It's a paper gain. So a lot of these guys are like, hey man, I'm looking to sell. Now the Red Sox are doing basically what the Niners are doing, which is having this like overall Fenway group, which owns the Red Sox and this and that and this and that, and like the Niners with all their teams. And suddenly the dream morphs from, you know what, I want to win championships to I need a clean bottom line so I can sell when I want to sell. So I kind of think Boston, I would not be shocked if the Red Sox go for some ungodly sum of money sometime in the next 5 years.
Yeah. That's an amazing call, man. I mean, and you're right, but and I have friends in Boston too, Larry. And in the aftermath of the Devers thing, man, dude, I heard from a lot of pissed off Red Sox fans. I mean, they are beside them because they have no idea who Kyle Harrison is. They have no idea who Hicks is. They're like, who are these guys? We just gave you our best hitter for like a pitcher I've never heard of with a 4.5 ERA. What the hell's going on here? So I get it. But they are freaking livid back there. Now, Chris,
and I told my nephew, I'm like, you should be livid because the guys you got suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I mean, Hicks, the Giants were dying to get rid of Hicks.
Yes.
He can't start. Yes. He can't close. He wants to start, but he's only a 5-inning starter. He's a starter. So what's Hicks? He's an overpriced 5-inning starter that come the 4th of July has elbow problems. So do you want that? Okay, you got him. What's Harrison? Harrison doesn't throw enough strikes to be a starter, so he's like a 7th-inning guy. That's what I see a good 7th-inning Kevin Rogers type reliever.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so that's Harrison, but that ain't worth Devers. And then Tibbs, I think, is like a 15 to 18 home run, 275 corner outfielder who doesn't play great D, not a great arm. And then the other guy's just a 20-year-old guy who's played an A-ball for the 2nd straight year and probably never makes it. So, and you got rid of Rafael Devers at age 28, and it's all about communication. The Giants, he's going to do for the Giants whatever the hell they want. Why? Because Buster communicated to him, and the Red Sox were like, you know what? We're going to pay you a mint, but then we're not going to communicate at all. We're going to go sign Bregman. We're going to treat you like you're just an employee here. And that's not the way you treat big-time athletes in 2025. You don't have to suck up to them, but you have to communicate a plan. And Devers said it. Hey, man, if they were willing to, if they talked to me about this in April, I would have been more open-minded. Instead, they're jerking me around. They're bringing this guy in. They're bringing that guy in. And he got a bad taste, and he wanted out. So, Breslow, I'll make another prediction. Breslow, the GM for the Red Sox, is crap canned before today next year. Before June 25th, 2026, he's crap canned.
And I wondered too, how long does Cora stay around? Because he and Devers were supposedly boys. They were supposed to be very tight, and I think that Devers felt like Cora's were the only people that had his back. And next thing you know, he's on the team charter heading to Seattle, and Cora has to tell him he's traded, dude. So I wonder if Cora's thinking like, what the hell's going on too? So, by the way, Lair, we have a super that just joined the show. Bake that dough and says nobody cares. Sincerely. Gary Red.
You have to emphasize the end part. Nobody cares.
Dude, yeah, it was funny. Over the weekend, man, I had a friend of ours. Actually, it was Drutzy. It was David Drutz, our old sales manager at KBR. I saw Metallica with him on Friday night. And
nice.
and then somehow Gary's name came up, and we were talking about Gary, and Drutzy was like, dude, you really got to try to get Gary to come on your show. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't even know where or how to find him at this point.
I have his number, but he is so vowed to, when I'm done, you'll never see me. And I think it's like a sense of pride at this point. Yeah. I feel like if I really want him on the show, and I do really want him on the show, I may have to just show up at the door.
You mean like when he's done, like Aaron Rodgers is saying that when he's done, he's done and he's going to disappear?
Gare. Gare had that take forever. Yeah. Hey, come on. I'm out of here, when I'm done, I'm not going to be sitting around with 2 hot dogs in my back pocket. All right, I'm going to be out of there. Yeah. So he's, he's a man of his word.
Hey, man, well, we missed him. Yeah.
I want to ask Krug just because I brought up Aaron Rodgers, and Mike Florio had a great piece on Rodgers today about saying like, hey, you say you don't want the spotlight, you don't want to be like in the public eye, and then you go on Pat McAfee on June 23rd or whatever. Like, what are you doing, dude? So, but I do want to know, how do you feel about the Rodgers in Pittsburgh signing? How do you feel about that? Because it's very, very odd and very bizarre.
Very on Pittsburgh. It's very like I cannot imagine Tomlin is going to give this guy a lot of room to pull his usual bullshit. Eat and bark, line and streams, all that shit. Like that is not how Tomlin rolls.
I think Tomlin is under more pressure there than we think. They have not won in a long time.
Yeah,
they're rabid to win. Yeah, they haven't won a playoff game in almost a decade. Yeah. That's a long time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to not win a playoff game. So, I don't know. I got to think that Mike Tomlin is kind of like Shanahan. It's like he's well thought of. He's got a good resume, but you know what? The standards are win a Super Bowl. Yeah. And Tomlin's done it, but it hasn't happened in a long time, and Shanahan's yet to do it. And, I don't know. Maybe Jed's getting nervous. So I don't okay. I don't think let you say this. We all know. Yeah. You don't get forever in the NFL.
No, man.
Mike Shanahan shown the door. Bill Belichick, a couple years after Brady was gone, he's coaching North Carolina.
Yeah.
You don't get forever in the NFL.
No, and I want to go back to you mentioning Kyle and what he's accomplished, and he's still looking for that first Super Bowl ring. Let's go back. I got a few more Niner things for you, Krugs.
Yeah.
You mentioned, and I totally agree with you on this 1,000,000%. You mentioned earlier in the show that the Niners have to find a way to get more pressure on the quarterback. And Nick Bosa, God bless him. I thought his whole production dropped a little bit last year. Like that was not it wasn't the kind of season I was hoping to see from Nick Bosa. Now, here's the thing. They add Bryce Huff. Very intriguing move. I think it was a good move. Now, the thing is, Larry, are we going to see both of those guys on because I think that's a great solution to this problem. All the times Nick Bosa is getting double teamed, he's getting held, he's getting dragged down to the field. With Bryce Huff on the opposite edge, if those guys are both out there at the same time, I think we're going to see results. Do you think that's what it's going to look like, or are they going to rotate Bryce Huff in and out like situational stuff?
I think it's going to be, first and second down, probably Mikael Williams or somebody else. And then I think you're going to see Bryce Huff on passing downs and third downs and on obvious passing downs. I wouldn't be surprised if you see, more of what they call their NASCAR package with basically big defensive ends. In this case, Mikael Williams. And maybe Robert Beal. We'll see who the other one is. Maybe Sam Aquinu because he's like, about 275 pounds. You're going to see some of your stronger defensive ends playing defensive tackle with Jordan Elliott, Evan Anderson, CJ West, Alfred Collins, those guys coming off the field. So I think you're going to see a 4D end alignment on obvious passing downs, and I think you're going to see Bryce Huff opposite Bosa, on all those what we call the money down, right? Third down. And I'll say this, if you watch Bryce Huff in practice, he's not impressive. Like when you watch him, you don't sit there and go, "Whoa, look at that dude." He's not like that. He's like 6'1" and change, and he's 255, and he gets into kind of like a 4-point stance, and it looks a little awkward. But then if you really, really watch closely, and I know you guys will be out there this summer and you'll be watching closely, his get off is like a dancer, who's got choreographed steps down to the absolute everything, everything's perfectly choreographed.
Technique.
And he gets off the ball. And his first 3 steps are incredibly explosive. And so, like, you're looking at him and you're like, doesn't look like much. Then you see him in the stance and you're like, it doesn't look right. And then all of a sudden, you'll hear, they'll snap the ball and you'll hear Kasarik go, way to get off the ball. Way to get off the ball, And and it's like, because this guy is an instructional video, kind of like, Lane Johnson for the Eagles has that kick step where it almost looks like he's literally false starting because he's so quick off the ball. And this guy's the defensive equivalent of that on the other side. He just gets off the football. And it's an amazing thing. If you get off the football, you have, it gives you so many advantages the rest of the play. If you don't get off the football, you're at a major disadvantage the rest of the play. And, the Niners have a little bit of both here. They have Mikael Williams and CJ West, who are young guys who are incredibly talented, but they don't necessarily get off the ball all that well. And they've got to get that timing down, get those techniques down. And then you got guys like Huff, who he doesn't look all that impressive, but he gets off the ball and he's going to bend the edge. He's going to make teams, chip him or account for him. And I've always said, I think the best way to free up Bosa is to get a true speed rusher opposite him, like you had with D Ford. I think this guy could be very much like D Ford in 19.
Nice. So, Krug, why did Philly want to get rid of Huff? Was it a money thing, like trying to get money, younger players, like an age thing? I'm hearing you rave about him, and I was very excited when I saw the news. I'm like, damn, dude, that's a steal. Getting Bryce Huff from the Eagles, I did feel like that's a steal. But then I started to think, well, wait a second, why did the Eagles want to get rid of him?
Well, they had other guys, and Fangio has a different system. I mean, these are dramatically different systems. And I asked Chris Kasarik, I said, why is a guy like Huff such a failure in their system and yet so exciting and such an exciting get for you and your system? Right. And, he made a great point, and I brought it up to former Niner defensive lineman Lige Douzable, who I had on with Sam Batesh earlier this week. Sam Batesh and he got us Lige Douzable, former Niner D tackle. I don't know if you remember him. He was with the Niners in 2017. But we were talking about how Kasarik, when I asked him the question, he said, it's really it sounds like a throwaway line, but it's just a different scheme.
Yeah.
He's like, there's quite the phrase that he used was really riveting. He's like, the foot sequencing for a defensive end in a 4-3 wide 9 scheme compared to the foot sequencing in a 2-point stance for a 3-4 outside linebacker who may rush or may drop into coverage is quite a bit different. And according to Kasarik, he thinks it's 2 totally different job descriptions. Also, the word around the NFL for years is that if Fangio doesn't like you, you're done. With him. If he doesn't want to use you, you're buried. They had other guys there. Part of their system is that your guys drop into coverage. And if you see Bryce Huff, he doesn't drop into coverage. He's a speed rusher who bends the edge and sacks the quarterback, and he looks like a fish out of water if you tell him to backpedal and cover anybody.
Hey, real quick, Paulie, I just want to say 4-2 Marlins, 2 out hitting for the Marlins. The Marlins seem to be able to hit with 2 outs. Giants can't. But Marlins.
And again, this is a Marlins team that is 13 games under 500. I'm just throwing that out there just for your head.
They are playing better of late, and I don't know. The Giants
they have 11 hits, and the Giants have 1 hit for each. Hit for each of us on this stream. That's what they have.
3, and that's a big night of having 3 hits. That's like a big night. We celebrate that. It's frustrating as hell. Here's a guy, Krugs. I saw you tweet about this guy. I saw Kittle talking about this guy, and I admit that I know very, very little, close to nothing about this guy other than what I've read from you. And I hope I pronounce his name correctly. He's a young wide receiver, Isaiah Nayor. Is that the right pronunciation? Nayor? What break this guy down? Have you heard about this guy, Tony? Like Kittle was raving about this dude, and so were you, Larry. So he's a scout's dream, right? Because
he's got traits. Scouts love traits. Coaches love production. So this guy, came out of high school and started off at University of Wyoming, right? And I think he had an injury his final year in high school. He was heavily recruited, but wound up at Wyoming. And then played really well, right? Played really well at Wyoming, so well that he put himself in the transfer portal, and everybody wanted him. Everybody, all the big schools wanted him. Bama, Georgia, all the Texas schools, and he went to Texas, right? So now he's going to Texas, and then he gets hurt, and he falls out of the rotation at Texas. Isaiah Bond transfers from Alabama. They had Golden, who went in the first round to the Packers. They just were loaded at wide receiver. So even though he went to Texas, he never really played for Texas. So then he got healthy, and there was no room at Texas. So he transferred to Nebraska, and he had a fantastic year catching passes from Donovan Raiola, who's a good young quarterback. And he had kind of his bust-out year, his final year at Nebraska. And then he went undrafted in the draft. He's an interesting guy. As I said, he's a scout's dream.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot. If you can believe this, he's 6'4". He's 220 pounds. So he's big, right? He's a big receiver.
Yeah.
6'4", 220, but he runs 4.40. That's an incredible 40 time for that big of a man.
Nice,
right?
Yeah.
So he's big and he's fast. Then he's got a 40-inch vertical, so he can jump.
Nice.
And he has 36-inch arms, which is like the longest arms. So he's got one of the best 40s on one of the biggest frames with one of the best verticals with some of the longest arms. So you're talking about a guy who's, when I saw him on the field during minicamp, he looks like Randy Moss.
Nice.
That's what he looks like.
Beautiful.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Now, if you watch him, he did have a couple examples of, he's body catching it, which reminded me of freshman football at SI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, that's these guys don't do it that way. They catch it like this, right?
Yeah.
And you don't catch it like that.
Mm-hmm.
You do when you're on your way to the junior prom, but you don't after high school. So anyway, so he's body catching it, and that's it screams out to guys like me, oh, he's really, really raw. But Kittle just told the boys on Bussin' with the Boys on Barstool that the guy ate up like 9.5 yards in 3 strides or 2 strides.
Damn.
And if you see him, there was a pass in minicamp, and it was a deep ball from Tanner Mordecai to Nair, and he's down the sideline, and on the dead run, he stretches out, and I'm like, there's no way, that was way overthrown. There's no way he's getting that. And he tips it and brings it in with his 36-inch arms and his 4.4 flat speed, and it looked awesome. Now, you know, the history of undrafted free agent receivers who make it in the NFL,
Right.
the Kendrick Bournes of the world, let's just say,
Yeah.
it's not a lengthy list.
No.
You know, it's a really hard position to go from college to the pros, and it's even harder to go from, you know, college undrafted guy to the pros. So I'm a little skeptical, but they have a need. Demarcus Robinson's going to miss 3 weeks because of the DUI. Debo's gone. He's in DC. Aiyuk is gone until probably November. They're leaning on some young guys. So if this guy, you know, shows up, I would say, if you said, what's your thought? I would say he's super talented, and he's probably ticketed for somebody's practice squad. And my guess is the Niners may have to add another receiver, but he may not be advanced enough to be ready to help them.
I got you. Yeah.
So I think he's a practice squad guy, but I'll say this, man. If this guy makes a bunch of plays, he won't make it to the practice squad because the traits are off the charts. So if this guy goes in the preseason and starts making a bunch of plays, he won't go through waivers. So they'll have to make a decision. And they also have Bergen, you know, who they really like, the return guy, their 7th round pick. It was interesting, though, when I was on vacation, I didn't have, you know, I was just looking at some of my notes and looking at some of the info that was out there. I looked at one day who's got the guaranteed money coming to them. And the Niners guaranteed Nair $259,000 or something like that. And they only guaranteed Bergen like $70,000.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
you know, even though there'll be a lot of people that will say, well, Bergen's more likely to win the job because they've got more invested in him. They invested the pick in him. Okay, they did. But to get Nair away from the other teams, they bid him up to $259,000 to the point where he's now making guaranteed 3 times what the other guy's making. So we'll see when you know, push comes to shove who gets that spot.
Dude, Kruger, you're talking money payouts for these guys. You're talking foot sequency. I can't get enough of this stuff. But I also want to say, like, it's all great. This is all great stuff to hear, but none of it means a freaking thing if they don't protect Brock. And I don't understand why there isn't more, in my humble opinion, I'd love to get your opinion, why there isn't more emphasis on O-line. And why there's so much faith in guys like Brendel and McKivitz. Apuni, sure. And I'm not. Trent Williams isn't going to make it a full 17 games. Like he's gonna go down at some point. I'm not trying to jinx the guy, but it just happens. It's happened, and it happens with the 2 years we've had him. So I'm just curious to think, why isn't there more emphasis on O-line to protect their biggest investment in Brock Purdy?
That's a good question.
You know, it is a good question, and to me it's interesting, and I've actually thought a lot about this because in a lot of ways, I mean, you guys are the perfect guys to talk to about this because we've all been watching Niner football for a long time, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that, you know, that we all can say is that this isn't our first rodeo.
No,
we all we say Bob McKittrick, and the 3 of us all have stories and anecdotes.
Dude,
where some of the guys I stream with, I say Bob McKittrick, and they look at me. I might as well have said Ronald McDonald or something.
Yeah,
you know, it's like what who Bob who? So isn't it interesting that Bob McKittrick really did a lot of the same things that Forster's doing? The only difference is the Niners won the Super Bowl back then.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
McKittrick went for undersized guys.
Big time.
Dan Audick started in the Super Bowl in 81. Dan freaking Audick.
Yeah.
He was like 265 pounds.
Even Jesse Sapulo, Guy McIntyre, they were not
12th round pick, Jesse. Jesse was a 12th rounder. John Ayers. So the only difference, the Niners always went with O-linemen that other teams would just laugh at or other teams would look over. And yet everybody thought McKittrick was a genius because they won Super Bowls with these guys.
Right.
Well, now here we are. It's 30 years later, and you've got another really respected O-line coach that a lot of people think is really, really smart, and he's getting by with non-first-round picks for the most part, and yet people are like, they're kind of like pissed at Furster because they're like, and really it just is because they haven't won the Super Bowl. I mean, if they won the Super Bowl, they probably would love Furster. But instead, we've seen the Niners lose the Super Bowl, and the blocking of Chris Jones broke down at the wrong time, so on and so forth. So I would just say that it's funny. I had Dieter, who I think is really smart, right? You guys know Dieter.
Oh yeah.
And we had Dieter on. Dieter thinks that I said make a bold prediction on the year. His bold prediction is that the Niners are going to have a top 5 offensive line.
Wow.
So he really believes in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he a big Ben what is his name? Ben Barch fan or something?
Yeah. I think he is.
You got the answer. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. I don't get the Brendel fascination other than the fact that Furster had him in Miami. He recommended him to Shanahan. Brendel came in for cheap and probably made Furster look really good because they had been investing big money in Weston Richburg and Alex Mack. And so maybe Brendel made Furster look good. But now, I mean, PFF has Brendel in, 25, 26 range. And to hear Furster talk about him, you'd swear he's going to Canton. So I don't know what to say about Brendel, but I will say this. What I like about the line this year is I like the backups. Like Matt Hennessy looks to me to be better than Jake Brendel, just from what I've seen.
Okay.
Austin Pleasance looks really good. I mean, he is fast and he's in great shape. Even Furster, when I mentioned to Furster that Pleasance was just an amazing looking player in practice, he agreed. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what happened to this guy. He's like, I liked him last year, but this year he came back and he's so much bigger, stronger, faster. So Austin Pleasance, I think, might replace Jalen Moore effectively. And then you've got Andre Dillard, who comes in. I think, he's kind of a late bloomer. You have Burford, who's now out at tackle. You still have Nick Sakel. They drafted Connor Colby out of Iowa. They really like him. Drew Moss is a guy that they paid a significant bonus amount to sign him as an undrafted player. So I kind of see what Dieter is saying. I do think that they still have problems, right? Trent is older. Barch and Brendel are question marks. McKivitz is good but not great, though he is a little stronger, a little bigger. It's a contract year for McKivitz. But you got 2 really good linemen in Trent and Pooney that you can't afford to lose. But I kind of like their backups this year. I kind of think that Dillard, Burford, Hennessy, Zakel, Pleasance, Colby, Moss, Drake Nugent, I think these guys are maybe a step above what they've had. So maybe there'll be a little bit better competition. Maybe they'll be a little bit more fortified if somebody goes down. But they're still, because they missed on Solomon Thomas, because they missed on Javon Kinlaw, because they kept missing on the D-line, and they prioritized the D-line over the O-line, they've neglected their O-line probably a little bit more than they should have. And they're just going to try to get through this year. But I would imagine their first-round pick next year is an offensive tackle.
I hope so. I think some of us kind of expected that this year, but hopefully that they do address it in the draft next year. So Larry, with all your great insights, and this is going to be, and we'll let you go, but I got one more question for you tonight, because Tony talked about, the importance of the offensive line to protect Brock Purdy. If he doesn't have time, he's going to get his head handed to him. The other guy I think that is dependent on the offensive line performing is CMC, Christian McCaffrey. So there's so much kind of with this offense wrapped up in or hinging on Christian McCaffrey's ability to cut, McCaffrey's ability to get through a seam, all that kind of stuff. I am slightly uptight about where we are with him in his career, coming off the injury he's coming off. I mean, I guess what I want to ask you as we wrap tonight, Larry, is what's the realistic expectation for Christian McCaffrey this year? I mean, we all want him to be the guy he was 2 years ago. I just don't know if that's realistic at this point. So what have you seen from him, and what do you hope for realistically for CMC coming into the season?
Well, I'd love it if somebody with the Niners would talk to him and just be like, hey, look, you've been the offensive player of the year. I want to get to Super Bowl Sunday with a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
If you can, if you talk about, let's talk about, we all want to see the Niners win the Super Bowl. How are they going to do it?
Right.
They have to get to Super Bowl Sunday with a healthy Christian McCaffrey.
Mhm.
Okay, so how do you do that? You got to spread his usage out a little bit. Maybe use him out of the backfield a little bit as a receiver. Maybe not, don't finish games with him. Finish games with somebody else besides him.
Yes.
I'll say this. The one thing about this year, and I don't know that he's up for it. And I tried to ask him about it during minicamp. I asked Bobby Turner, I'm like, what do you think of McCaffrey? And he's like, look, I let Christian be Christian. And the only thing I would say is I think Bobby T, and I'm sure the Niners would push back on this. I'm sure they would disagree, but I think Bobby T gives McCaffrey too much control. You're the coach. He's the player.
I got you.
Sit him down more. Like, you know what I'm seeing on the field, guys? I'm seeing Isaac Guerrero looking monster.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I
Great.
think Isaac Guerrero, if the Niners really wanted to get to the Super Bowl, I think the CMC left, CMC right, CMC. I think that's got to be a CMC Guerrero combo.
Yeah, combo.
I think when Shanahan got to the Super Bowl with the Falcons, he didn't just have Tevin Coleman. He had Tevin Coleman. He had two other backs as well that were pretty good backs. Guerrero looks amazing. Now, I haven't seen Mayoko's video today, but Mayoko did like a 20-minute or 30-minute live stream on his YouTube channel about Guerrero. And when we're done, I'm going to watch that. And I want to hear what he has to say about Guerrero. Guerrero, to me, just looks absolutely amazing. He's 225 pounds. They threw him 16 passes last year. He caught 15 of them. He's got great hands. Bobby Turner told me he's got a fantastic attitude. He's caught a couple balls in minicamp, and he's taken it all the way down the sideline like a Roger Craig or a Jerry Rice. And you're sitting there going, wait a second, this guy. And he's, he can really catch. He can, his instincts as a runner are just okay, but he's so damn big and so fast.
Yep.
And he's so underutilized. I really think there's a chance that the story of this season is, they don't have Debo. They don't have Aiyuk, but Purdy's throwing to guys that have more separation. I think Cowing and Watkins and Demarcus Robinson will probably get more separation. The Niners were 32nd last year in wide receiver separation on pass plays. So it's Purdy. Every time Purdy was throwing the ball down the field, guys were covered. Well, this year he's got speed. So I think that is going to be the new story. I think you're going to see more 12 personnel with Kittle being used in the pattern more, Luke Farrell being used as a blocker. But I also think it's going to evolve from the CMC show to CMC and Guerrero light this league ablaze. And I would not be surprised. And I even say it to you fantasy players. You get to the 10th round of your fantasy draft and Isaac Guerrero is there, pick him. Pick him.
Yeah.
Because this guy is so impressive on the field. And if he makes that step that so many players make from year 1 to year 2, I think he could be not just a really good Niner, but like a really good player that is productive that everybody in the league knows about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, Paulie, I know we're going to wrap with Krug here in a sec, but I just wanted to say, Krug, with the CMC talk, it reminds me of when the Niners had to tell Steve Young, dude, you just run out of bounds. Just, like shut it down. Those 2 extra yards we don't need them right now. We need you for the long haul. And I feel like the same
Steve
thing
wasn't wired like that, though. Steve was a football player.
And neither is McCaffrey. McCaffrey's not wired. Yeah.
You guys know the great Bob Myers. I mean, what did he say? The greatest ability is availability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The old coach, you say you can't make the club in the tub, but the bottom line is, if you're hurt, that's it. I mean, you got to figure out a way to stay healthy.
And Krugs, I'm pretty sure, like I'm thinking about the first Super Bowl run Kyle had when Garoppolo was still here. He was doing a lot of that mixing in the backfield then, because I remember the postseason, it was Jet McKinnon had a huge game against Minnesota. And then the next week against Green Bay, it was Mostert. Mostert like had a record-setting day, and it was the combination of those two running backs with different styles and different looks. I think defenses were really kind of kept off balance. So I love the combo platter idea, man. And Krugs, dude, let me just say, bro, it's great to catch up with you, man. Just great to see your face. And I'm glad you're back from vacation. Dude, I get so much Niner stuff from you. And Tony, I can see you. Go ahead. You got something else. What do you got, buddy?
I want to know, because Larry goes to Levi's Stadium more than you and I do. And Larry, Paulie and I were just at Levi's Stadium with Rod Brooks and our PMP ticket winners.
Nice.
And dude, we were there for the Sunday show. It was great, but there it is, right in front of the parking garage. The Steve Young statue is not inside the stadium anywhere.
Right into the porta potties, Larry. They got
in front of this parking garage that I know you've parked in, and I want to know: have you ever thought about like why in
what the hell kind of placement is that?
Yeah.
It's like they were going to throw him across the street by the garage. Wait, like what? Steve Young's the last guy to bring us a ring. You want to give him a little bit more love? I mean, like I got.
Well, not only that. I mean, if you've been to Philly and you've seen the Rocky statue, usually these statues are bigger than the person, not smaller. Yeah. Steve was about 6'1" and change. His statue's like 5'9",
and he's got skinny legs. He doesn't even look like him.
It doesn't look like him. It looks like you're supposed to put your gum on it on the way to the garage.
I know, dude. That's no way to treat the left-hander, man. That is.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I mean, I know you don't got to put them in the front yard, but you put them in the side yard. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's harsh. It's a harsh placement. There's no question. We got to rectify that. But anyway, Krug, bro, thanks again, my brother. Great seeing you. Everybody watch the Krug show, dude. Everybody was excited on the comment line to see you. So onward and upward, Larry. We're going to be doing this again, especially when football starts. So
hey guys, anytime. I'm every time you guys go live, I get the alert. I jump in there sometimes if I got a free moment. It's a source of pride seeing yourself, John Lund, Tommy. You know, there's so all my radio buddies are all finding future riches and investing in their brand and building their channels, and it's awesome, man, because the same way we were all on the same radio station but did different shows, we're all on the same YouTube and do different streams.
That's it,
and
man.
It's awesome, and the winner is the audience. So I always love seeing you guys doing your thing. I love the videos that you guys post. Some fantastic stuff, dude. So keep it rocking, keep it rolling, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Krugs. Tell Kevin we said hi too. Give him a big hug for us, man.
I will. And anytime you need his assistance, let us know.
We do, man. And
Thank you.
He's a freaking Jedi. Thank you, Larry.
Talk to you soon, Krugs.
Later, fellas. Have a good night.
You too, brother. You too. There he is, everybody. Larry Kruger. And you're right. But at one point, dude, I looked over. I saw Noemi, and she goes, he's dropped anchor. He's done it. And I was like, it was like right around 9 o'clock. But anyway, that's Krug. You got to let Krug run free, dude. It's like when you drive your dog out to the country, and then you open the car door, and you're like, okay, man, go. Just go. Or you take like the Nerf and you throw it as far as you can, like 50, 60 yard pass with a Nerf, and the dog, it couldn't be happier. Yes.
We got bags drunk, no outs, bottom of the ninth, Giants baseball.
Okay, well, good. Let's wrap and go watch the end. This is what worked last time. Let's get the particles flying around here. So follow on Longbridge Pizza. Thank you again, Longbridge, Neil Denardi. We freaking love you. We'll see you soon. Again, as I mentioned earlier, my great buddy Los D, Carlos De La Fuente at Flex Funding, he and I talked yesterday about having an event involving him at Longbridge, and we're gonna, Tony, I'll talk to you about that too. You missed the call yesterday, but no big deal. We'll talk. And Tony, you go ice that face up. Maybe some Longbridge pizza tomorrow would be good for you. A little sourdough crust. Nobody's looking. Wham! You nail a couple slices. Help yourself get back on the road to recovery. But I do want to get Tony in a dimly lit room with an ice bag and the end of the Giant game. So get on down to Longbridge Pizza. Enjoy the serious pizza and the laid back vibes. the great playlist brought to you by our great friends down there. The greatest music you're ever going to hear, whether it's Andre, whether it's Steven. It's a family affair down there. Shout out Sly and the Family Stone. It's a family affair right here on PMP. Los D, Karen Bell, Nutter, Rags, Don Peralta, John Joseph, on and on and on it goes. Robot Centaur, you know too. Look at Robot Centaur. Yo, Tony, slap a frozen LBP slice on your face, dude, to keep the swelling down. Why not? It can't hurt, man. Why not?
Adonis! Oh, it was at the wall, dude. It looked like a grand slam. Sorry,
No,
Paul. He literally
okay.
drove it to the top of the wall.
I love the excitement.
That's
Okay,
why.
this is our cue. This is our cue.
4-3.
All right.
Oh, look at his face. Okay.
I
Hey, by
wanna
the way,
get down
thank
and
you
watch.
everybody for the love on the chat. I appreciate it. And also Longbridge tomorrow, day game, Giants ball. Go to Longbridge for the day game. Grab yourself a gabagool, grab yourself some pizza, grab a cold beer, and then get into the yard. Thank you, P.
And we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. broadcast. Looking forward to seeing everybody then. Tony, if you dismiss the class, we'll watch you end of the game as a group. Go ahead. Thank you.
There we go.
Can I get a Tony Montana say goodnight to the bad guy? Isn't that possible? Can I get a
Oh, you know what? Can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Hang on. No, I can't do it. Sorry.
Okay. I'll do it for you. So say goodnight to the bad guy. All right, everybody, say goodnight to the bad guy. I freaking love all of you guys. Hey, Corinne, thanks for stopping by. Anthony Merkovich, freaking love you too, man. Patty from Napa, condolences, chin up. Rags, no more bags to the face. I can second that. And let me see. NorCal Refrigeration, my main man in Santa Cruz. You have a good night down there, man. Say what's up to go to Capitola and say what's up to Zelda's for me. Tony and I have been known to have a couple of beers down at Zelda's right up the street there in Capitola. All right, rest up, my brother. Feel better. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 11. Come on, Giants, finish this thing off. We'll see you tomorrow morning, everybody. Cheers.